When Sophia made a big show of taking her college mentee skiing in Aspen, I didn't yell or cause a scene. I just calmly told her we were done. She exploded. Are you seriously making this big a deal just because I didn't take you skiing? It wasn't just because she kept ditching me for him. It was because she'd complained the convenience store downstairs was too far to get me stomach medicine, leaving me doubled over in pain. But Aspen was 1,000 miles away, and because Felix was feeling down, she'd blow through our wedding fund just to take him there. I was just done. Done with this rotten life. She slammed the door on her way out, telling me to have my little tantrum. But the day after she left, I signed the overseas transfer contract at my company. The second day, I packed up and moved out all of my things. The third day, I smashed the photo wall I had built with my own hands. The fourth day, I had a farewell party with my friends and got blackout drunk. Until the seventh day, her flight landed just as mine was taking off. We were ships passing in the night, strangers from then on. Sophia practically jumped off the couch, frantically packing a suitcase without even looking up at me. Leo, transfer me the money from our joint savings account. Felix saw his ex posting pics with her new boyfriend and he's a wreck. He wants to go skiing in Aspen to clear his head. Everyone else is busy, so I have to go with him. I was holding a glass of warm water, having just taken some stomach medicine. My fingertips were ice cold. My texts were still open to that message from Felix. The snow in Aspen is gonna be amazing. Thanks for letting me borrow your girl for a week, bro. He'd added an emoji with its tongue sticking out. Only I knew how much sickening provocation was hiding behind that playful facade. But I was so calm, I couldn't even feel a ripple of anger anymore. That's our wedding money. I know. I won't use your share. Just send me mine. Sophia shoved me aside, completely ignoring how weak I looked clutching my stomach. She just wanted to grab her power bank from between the couch cushions behind me. Let's be clear, don't start any drama this time. Felix is going home right after the trip. Then he'll be 1,000 miles away, out of your hair for good. As she focused on her suitcase, she never once looked at me. The dim light cast a glow on her face, which was full of excitement and anticipation. Nothing had changed, yet she felt terrifyingly unfamiliar. Turns out, traveling 1,000 miles for someone you care about isn't tiring at all. An hour earlier, my stomach had started hurting so bad I was curled up on the sofa, unable to move. I begged Sophia to go downstairs and buy me a box of stomach medicine. She was scrolling on her tablet, her brow furrowed, while picking out cat food, a cat bed, and toys for Felix's stray cat. She replied dismissively, "Babe, it's about to snow. It's freezing out there, and I'd have to cross the street. Don't make me go out. Your girlfriend is a person, too. I slave away all day for a paycheck, and you want me to be your servant when I get home? I'm exhausted. Besides, don't we have painkillers? Just take one of those for now." Then, still focused on choosing toys, she muttered under her breath, "You're both men. I don't see other guys being so dramatic." And by other guys, she meant Felix, the kid who was on a call with her through her earbuds the whole time. I took a breath and asked her directly, "So, taking half a day off to drive across the city to buy your mentee a limited edition collectible wasn't slaving away? That wasn't a hassle?" Sophia's fingers froze on the screen. When she looked up, her eyes were cold and annoyed. "Do you have to be so petty about everything? Felix is a guest, and he's my professor's son. He doesn't know anyone here. I should be a good host, shouldn't I? Leo, I used to think you were so understanding. How did you become like this? So understanding? Did that mean I was just supposed to swallow my feelings and plaster on a smile in the face of her neglect and cruelty?" Her mentee had a bad breakup, showed up in our city without notice, and stayed for 2 months. For 2 months, Sophia ditched me for him again and again. When I had a fever, Sophia was out hiking with him to see the city lights. When I was stuck in a downpour, Sophia was at home with him, eating hot pot by the window as they watched the rain. When my flight back from a business trip landed late at night, she turned her phone off to watch a movie with him. Worse, for all of Felix's expenses in Chicago, Sophia used the money we had saved for our engagement photos and honeymoon. Her excuse was always the same: "Leo, you've always been so understanding. Don't put me in a difficult position. I was struggling in college, and my professor was so good to me. She had me over for dinner countless times, and her encouragement and support were the only warmth in my bleak childhood. I wouldn't be where I am today without her. Do you understand? It's not just money. If she asked for half my life, I'd give it to her. I understood. Sophia felt she had to repay a debt. It was normal for her to go above and beyond for the person who had been her mentor, the only light in her past. If I complained, I was being cheap, ungrateful, and small-minded. But does repaying a debt mean sharing chopsticks with her mentee? Does it mean warming his frozen hands in hers? Does it mean letting him try on the engagement ring I'd been saving for her? Every single one of these things, her dear Felix had sent to me. He always ended with a line like, "You're so understanding, bro, you probably won't mind, right? They all say Sophia's boyfriend is this broody, cheap guy. You wouldn't want to prove them right, would you?" They referred to Sophia's friends, Felix's upperclassmen, because Felix's departure date was up in the air, and hundreds of dollars a night for a 5-star hotel was getting expensive. I suggested finding a more affordable Airbnb. Felix, with tears in his eyes, said, "I'm just causing problems for everyone. Don't worry about the hotel, I'll just leave tomorrow." And just like that, I was branded the cheap bad guy. After that, they started intentionally icing me out at their gatherings. At the karaoke bar, they'd pointedly ignore me. Even when we went river rafting, they planned it so I'd be the odd one out, forced to pair up with a stranger. Sophia knew all about it. At first, she'd apologize and try to make it up to me. Later, she'd just be silently displeased. Finally, she'd just scowl at me in frustration. "Can't you just try to fit in? Look at Felix, he gets along with everyone. Would it kill you to learn to be a little more charming like him?" But I didn't have a rich, influential mother whose reputation let me coast through life. My attempts to be friendly were mocked behind my back as pathetic and spineless. Eventually, they stopped inviting me to their get-togethers. The water in the kettle was at a rolling boil. Sophia was on her phone, pacing back and forth, comforting Felix, who was supposedly crying and threatening to go home because of me. The contrast between her cold dismissal of me and her warm concern for him was stark. I didn't even have the energy to argue anymore. I pulled out my phone and ordered some hot soup. As I leaned weakly against the door waiting for the delivery, I heard Sophia whispering to Felix in a placating tone, There, don't cry. The custom cake and flowers you wanted are on their way to you right now. Cheer up. Think of it as a little care package from me, it's already out for delivery." After she hung up, the smile vanished from her face. Our eyes met, my expression blank, hers as cold as the steel of the door. Was that fun? Saying things like that on purpose right in front of Felix. Have you never had a collectible figure before? Have I never driven across town to get you a gift? Her irritation and dissatisfaction, which I used to be blind to, were now all too familiar. What can I say? Watching your relationship rot away right in front of you, you feel helpless, heartbroken, and full of regret. But for a relationship to start, it takes two people. For it to end, all it takes is one person's change of heart. Even knowing it was over, I couldn't stop the bitterness from rising. I asked quietly, "You can order all that stuff for them at a moment's notice, but you couldn't think to order me some soup when I'm sick?" I scoffed. "Because I'm not important, right? My pain doesn't matter as much as Felix's tears. So the medicine I need is less important than the cake that might cheer him up." Sophia froze. She knew her favoritism was wrong, but her instinctive choice was still to side with Felix. "Why are you comparing his collectible to your gift? Is he your boyfriend, too?" Sophia's pupils constricted. She understood everything, but she deliberately used her debt of gratitude to manipulate me, to corner me, turning me into the fool who couldn't even speak up about his pain. I let out a strange laugh and looked down, pushing away Sophia as she tried to make excuses. "Don't bother explaining. A broody, bitter boyfriend like me should just exit your life, the same way I exited your circle of friends." The slam of the door cut off Sophia's desperate explanations. Later, the delivery guy brought the hot soup. Seeing me hunched over, He even reminded me that stomach pain was awful and I should go to the hospital if it got too bad. I nodded at him gratefully. The warmth from a stranger felt more real than from the person closest to me. On a night when I felt completely helpless, it almost brought me to tears. When I turned around, Sophia was standing behind me. I don't know when she got there. I'm sorry. You've always been so understanding. Indulge me this one time, just this once. I owe my professor everything. There's no way I can ever repay her. She boiled water, made medicine, held a hot compress to my stomach, fed me soup. Finally, she lay on the couch trying to soothe me. Felix just came here to get over a breakup. He has no one else here. I can't just ignore him. We're just like brother and sister. There's nothing else to it. I promise, I'll make sure he gets home safely to his mom next week, and then I'm done with him. Honey, please don't fight with me. I know I've been neglecting you lately, but we have a whole lifetime together. We don't need to fight with him for a little bit of my time right now, do we? She didn't know we didn't have a lifetime anymore. While she was ordering that cake for Felix, I had taken a call from my company. She was so focused on her mentee that she hadn't heard a thing. I had accepted the overseas transfer. I was leaving next week. Sophia and our 5 years together were about to be left behind in Chicago. Leo? Stop this. Sophia's low, annoyed voice pulled me out of my memories. Looking at her face, which was ready to erupt in anger at any moment, I decisively took out my phone. I transferred the $31,300 of her money that I was holding, down to the last cent, back to her. I probably won't need this much, but whatever. Better to have too much than too little when you're traveling. I'll send back whatever's left when I get home. My hand holding the phone froze. An involuntary, bitter laugh escaped my lips. Leo, I've decided. From now on, I'm gonna save every penny so we can have a huge wedding. The memory of her hugging me tightly was still so clear. But now, she was about to spend that money on another guy, one who couldn't handle the slightest hardship with her. Crash! As Sophia yanked her charging cable free, my glass tipped over. A full glass of warm water spilled all over the floor. Sophia's brow furrowed in annoyance. Can't you keep this place clean for once? Look at Felix, he's younger than you, but he's so much neater, even his bed. She stopped mid-sentence. But when she met my calm gaze, she guiltily raised her voice. I saw it in a picture. Always drama, drama, drama. Can't you just not be annoying for once and let me have a pleasant start to my vacation? She only acted like this when she knew she was wrong but was too stubborn to admit it. Always talking about him being just a mentee, insisting on her innocence. But she had slept in Felix's bed. And it's obvious under what circumstances a woman sleeps in a man's bed. The pain in my stomach spread, stabbing into my heart. It was a cold, sharp ache. Oh, it can get even more pleasant. With an ice-cold smile, I said, word by word, we're breaking up. Sophia's hand, zipping up the suitcase, froze. In an instant, her face turned darker than the gloomy, snow-filled sky outside. I knew it. You just couldn't let me have a good time. Are you seriously making this big a deal just because I didn't take you skiing? You want to cause a scene? Fine. Have your goddamn scene. The door slammed shut. A blast of cold air hit my face, finally breaking the dam of emotions I had been holding back for so long. I knew. Sophia was standing right outside, waiting for me to open the door. It was our agreement. No matter how bad the fight, how big the drama, as long as the person who left didn't actually leave, and as long as the person who stayed was willing to open the door, it was an unspoken truce. All the unpleasantness would be forgiven and forgotten. In the past, we had covered up the cracks in our relationship so many times with this self-deception. But this time, I looked down at the stains spreading across the rug I had spent so long picking out, ruining it completely. It was impossible to clean, but a waste to throw away, just like my relationship, which had become tasteless but I couldn't bear to abandon. That door, I didn't want to open it anymore. On the security camera feed, Sophia was leaning her head back against the wall, her sharp features scrunched up in a mix of frustration and conflict. She was afraid that if I opened the door, I wouldn't let her leave. But this time, she was overthinking it. Finally, after a notification from Felix lit up her phone, She gave the closed door one last glance and walked away without looking back. I picked up the stained rug and, without a second's hesitation, stuffed it into the trash can. It's ruined. I don't want it anymore. Then I opened an app and ordered a box of stomach medicine. If you can buy it on your phone, don't count on anyone else. That was something Sophia had once thrown in my face. A new text popped up. It was Sophia. I'm gone. A week should be enough time for you to throw your tantrum, right? She thought I was just acting out again. But not anymore. I took the medicine, turned off my phone, and fell into a deep sleep. For the first time, I didn't care whether she stayed or left. The moment Sophia's plane landed, Felix updated his social media. A picture of a tall figure from behind, pushing two heavy suitcases, with an out-of-place men's sports duffel slung over her shoulder. It was Sophia. Felix's caption read, "The way someone dropped everything to fly above the clouds with me." A little childish but so reassuring. Sophia's friends all liked the post. Sophia's best friend Chloe's boyfriend commented, "Where's Leo? Last I heard, his honeymoon was also planned for Aspen. Did you guys go together?" A minute later, that blatantly showy post was deleted. Immediately after, Sophia texted me, "You need to go explain to our friends group chat. Tell them Felix was having a hard time and you were generous enough to let me go with him to cheer him up. They dislike you so much. This is your chance to redeem yourself. Don't miss it." I got the message. I posted one last thing in the group chat. Don't force yourself into a circle where you don't belong. From now on, you don't have to start a separate chat to talk trash about me. Long live your friendship. Then I left the group. After that, I turned off my phone and walked into my manager's office. I signed my name on the transfer assignment letter. When I first decided to stay in Chicago for Sophia, everyone thought I was wasting my potential. But even now, as I watched our love, once ripe, fall to the ground and smash into a pulpy mess, I don't regret that choice. Because at the time I chose to stay for love, and that was true to my heart. So I won't hold any grudges. I won't become rich and successful and then look back with bitterness, lamenting some precious love I missed out on. Now, having tasted the bitterness of love, I finally understand how sweet it is to have money and a way out in my own hands. Dozens of missed calls and messages from Sophia were deleted with a single tap. I had too much to do to waste energy on her inevitable meltdown. In just one night, all my belongings in the apartment we had shared for 5 years were packed into boxes. Some were shipped back to my hometown, others packed in suitcases to take with me. Sophia stopped trying to contact me. That was her way of showing she was angry, the start of the silent treatment. In the past, I was always the one who broke first. When the pain had me tossing and turning in bed. When familiar objects choked me with memories of the past. When my emotions flooded over and I couldn't control myself. I would be the one to back down and give in. I knew it was a toxic pattern, but I couldn't stop myself. It was like a tumor attached to my heart. Every tug hurt me, not it. If I tried to cut it out, the tumor wouldn't feel a thing, but I'd be the one bleeding out. The detox began when I stopped going to their group gatherings. Every time I backed down, it was like another cut on the walls around my heart. After enough cuts, I became numb, and I realized the pain of leaving her was the least of my worries. Felix couldn't resist showing off their honeymoon. He had his arm linked with Sophia's. From Nakajima Park to the Tanakikoji shopping street. He texted me, "Bro, Aspen is so beautiful. You have to come see it next time. Oh wait, you're the one who made this honeymoon itinerary, right? You must have really wanted to come. Don't worry, I came for you. Sophia's mad, but it's okay. I'll calm her down for you." I turned off my phone, ignoring it. I quietly scheduled a handyman to come over the next day. In the middle of our apartment was a pink, heart-shaped wall I had built myself. It separated the kitchen and living room, and it was covered with photos documenting my entire journey with Sophia. I took them down one by one and threw them in the trash. I once said that if our love wasn't as solid as a rock, this wall would crumble along with it. So, while Felix and Sophia were splashing around in a hot spring, and while Felix was cheekily texting me, "Sending you pics of every view, so it's like you were here too," I took the sledgehammer from the handyman. Crash! I knocked down our wall of love. Took a whole day to build it, brick by little brick. But when it was time to get rid of it, it took only half an hour to tear it all down. After clearing away the last traces, I left the keys on the coffee table and closed the door on my love for Sophia for good. On the fourth day, Sophia was in the snow-covered plains of Bié, building a pair of adorable, cuddling snowmen for Felix. And Felix thoughtfully wrote forever and ever in the snow. Meanwhile, I was at a small pub with Jax and the guys, saying our goodbyes. Slightly drunk and blurry-eyed, we ended up at a karaoke bar. My friends didn't shove me into a corner. They didn't use me as a waiter to order songs and fetch drinks. They crowded around me, arms slung over shoulders, singing and dancing with all their might, tears streaming down their faces. To Leo's bright future, to his success, and to being single. Being single won't last forever, but friendship will. I thank them for pulling me out of the fire time and time again when I was in so much pain I thought I couldn't go on. When I had a fever, they brought me medicine. In the pouring rain, their friendship was the boat that carried me home. Even at the airport in the middle of the night, they were the ones who held me when I was all alone and told me I still had them. Every time, just when I was about to give up, the seeds of our friendship bloomed into flowers of salvation in my wounds. We drank until the early morning. Back at the hotel, I collapsed into bed and passed out. On the fifth day, Sophia and Felix were holding hands. He texted me, "Such a shame, bro. I grew up a little too late. She met you first." Meanwhile, I was wandering the streets of Chicago, eating all kinds of snacks. Only I knew the spicy, savory taste of that freedom. On the sixth day, on a pink-tinged ski slope, Sophia pulled Felix into her arms. Felix texted, "Don't you get it yet, bro? You're the third wheel. She loves me. I didn't have time to get any of it." My work handover was almost complete. My colleagues threw me a farewell party. Without Sophia's disapproving glares, I let loose, drank with everyone, and got drunk again. Until the seventh day when Sophia sent me a message. "Landing in 3 hours. Felix is flying back to Denver. Come pick me up. The presents I got you are too heavy to carry." That was the typical way a headstrong Sophia would offer a truce. But what she didn't know was that my flight out of the country was also in 3 hours. I didn't reply. She started calling me like a madwoman. I rejected every call. Felix sent me a message. "Thanks for lending me your girl for 7 days, bro. It was short, but we did everything we wanted to. I gave myself to her. I have no regrets." He had no regrets, and neither did I. The bragging pictures with her friends, the innocent but not innocent provocations, and his shamelessness as a homewrecker, I compiled it all into a PowerPoint presentation. The moment their plane took off, I sent it to all of Sophia's friends and, to their boyfriends, the guys Felix always called those annoying boyfriends. "Chloe is the best. She ditched her date to help me take my cat to the groomer. Even Sophia said her annoying boyfriend is way more understanding than you. Ugh." Olivia waited in line for hours to get me the first pumpkin spice latte of the season. Her annoying boyfriend only got the leftovers I didn't want. Sophia said she's already claimed next year's first one for me. "What flavor do you want, bro? I'll have Sophia get you one too." "Sorry, bro. Chloe was supposed to go leaf peeping with me, but her annoying boyfriend was throwing a fit, so I had to steal Sophia for 2 days. You're so understanding, you wouldn't cause a scene like that, right? Sophia's the best." When she saw Olivia give me her annoying boyfriend's birthday present, she insisted on getting me a replacement gift. "I asked for your engagement ring. You wouldn't be too cheap to give it up, would you, bro?" Every one of his triumphant boasts was mixed with the pain and tears of another man. So he deserved everything that was coming to him. After confirming that everyone had received the file, Felix, Sophia, and her whole rotten crew were blocked and deleted. The gloomy weather, after a week of snow, suddenly cleared the moment my plane took off. I walked out of the storm alone, tears mixed with blood, leaving a trail of flowers in my wake. Today, I finally let go of the past. From now on, my future would be nothing but bright. Sophia had never felt 3 hours drag on for so long. She couldn't sit still, her mind consumed by the unanswered international calls. She should have been completely certain that Leo couldn't leave her. Leo came from a broken home. His father was a gambling addict who, in a losing streak, had attacked someone with a knife, killing one person and injuring two others. From then on, Leo was branded the son of a murderer. His mother remarried and moved away, leaving him to be raised by his grandmother. He grew up timid and insecure, walking on eggshells. Until he met her. Leo was handsome, with an incredible resilience, as if no hardship could ever break him. He was like a pine tree growing out of a crack in a rock. Tall and straight, braving wind and rain, growing tougher and more upright. She loved him, and her heart ached for him. With the greatest patience, the most steadfast devotion, and the most enduring companionship and encouragement, she helped him rediscover himself over and over. She helped him take control of his own life again and again. She wasn't just his benefactor, she was his emotional rock, his entire support system. He couldn't leave her. Sophia knew this better than anyone. Maybe she had been too focused on picking out cat food that day and had forgotten his medicine. Maybe she shouldn't have slammed the door he had so carefully chosen, which had made him angry. Or maybe this silent treatment had gone on too long and had broken his heart. That's why, unlike before, he couldn't be won over with a little coaxing. It didn't matter. After Leo's grandmother passed away, she was his only emotional anchor. His feelings for her weren't just love, it was a dependency, an addiction. He was probably just being stubborn. He was probably already at the airport, waiting with her favorite gifts as a surprise. Until the plane landed. Sophia rushed towards the exit, her eyes desperately scanning the crowd for that familiar figure. But he wasn't there. He didn't come. A sudden panic gripped Sophia's heart. She started to feel uncertain, unsure if she could really win him back this time. Unsure if someone so resilient could cruelly endure the pain of breaking a fatal addiction. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone and frantically dialed Leo's number. The automated message telling her the number was no longer in service made her blood run cold. Before she could even open his chat, hundreds of messages flooded the pinned group chat with her friends. First, it was Chloe's boyfriend, cursing Felix out in the chat, calling him a two-faced snake. He had baited his girlfriend into ditching their date to take his cat to the groomer, which left him alone to be harassed by some drunk punks, almost landing him in the hospital. Then, it was Olivia's fiancé, posting their marriage certificate and demanding Felix return their joint property. Every item was a gift Olivia had given him behind her husband's back. It got ugly. The two couples, for people, were tearing each other apart in the group chat. Finally, a peacemaker in the group said, "Professor Miller was so good to all of us. We're just being nice to her son to repay her kindness. No need to be so petty. Look at Sophia. She spent tens of thousands, even took Felix on her honeymoon trip, and Leo didn't lose his mind." Chloe's ex-boyfriend added a line. "He didn't lose his mind. He just dumped that trash." After that, he left the group. An eerie silence fell over the chat. Sophia's eyes widened, reading that last sentence over and over. He just dumped that trash. He just dumped that trash. She felt like she'd been punched in the gut. Shaking, she scrolled all the way to the bottom of her chats to find Leo. But when she sent a hello, a red exclamation mark immediately popped up. Sophia was frantic. She was scared. Ignoring Felix behind her, she jumped into a taxi and raced home. She prayed the whole way. He's just angry. He's just giving me the cold shoulder for neglecting him. When I open that door, he'll be sitting on the couch, quietly waiting for me. Never again. It was my fault for being careless, my fault for neglecting him. It was my fault for being blind and letting my friends and him manipulate me. I love Leo. After 5 years, he's a part of me, inseparable. I can't leave him, I can't quit him. Please don't let him be gone. Please. Until she finally opened the door she had slammed shut. The stuffed animals Leo had won for her from claw machines were gone from the sofa. In their place was only the faded, yellowing fabric of the old couch back, cold and mocking. The potted plants Leo had brought home one by one were all gone, leaving huge empty spaces, like her own hollowed-out heart. Even the photo wall he had built with his own hands was smashed to pieces, cleaned up so thoroughly that not a single speck of debris remained. just like her, completely erased from his life. The cartoon welcome mat, the matching mugs on the coffee table, the travel magnets on the fridge, his blue towel in the bathroom, every trace of him was gone. It was absolute and final, leaving her no room for hope. So, his let's break up wasn't just angry words. It wasn't a threat. He had really made up his mind to leave. He saw through her wavering feelings, knew her indecisiveness, and understood her selfish desire to have it all. And so, he left her. Sophia felt herself sway, only one thought in her mind. Find Leo, apologize to him. But as she turned to leave, she came face to face with Felix, his big, innocent eyes blinking at her. It's perfect that he's gone. My luggage is all here, I can move right in. Sophia, I've waited for this day for so long. The hands that had once put sweet and sour pork on her plate as a child, the hands she had once held to teach him how to write, now slithered around her waist like a snake. You're the one who chose me, aren't you? Sophia was horrified. She shoved him away as if he were a viper. Are you crazy? I have a boyfriend. It's Leo. A corner of Felix's mouth curved into a cold, manic smile that didn't match his innocent face at all. He doesn't want you anymore, don't you know? But I want you. Have you forgotten? We slept together last night. And Leo knows. No. Sophia trembled all over, goosebumps rising on her skin. He would never leave me. You twisted everything to make him misunderstand. You plotted to drive him away. I just need to explain things. He loves me. He has nothing but me. As long as I back down, as long as I'm willing to appease him, he'll come back. He will. Get out. If you get out, he'll stop being angry. Sophia desperately pushed Felix out of the home she had shared with Leo, then turned and ran to Leo's company. But Leo was gone. No one would tell her where he went. His arrogant boss, a man she had always looked down on, looked at her with a sneer, as if she were a piece of filth. Well, look who has some free time. Done entertaining your little mentee. Are we? Finally remembered broody old Leo? Or are you just looking for a new butler? For the first time, Sophia humbled herself in front of someone she disdained, begging to know where Leo was. The boss just shook his head. This whole heartbroken act? Honestly, it's not a good look on you. Leo gave up 2 golden opportunities for an overseas promotion for you. What did you ever do for him? Oh right, you were considerate. You were worried he'd be cold this winter, so you gave him something green to wear on his head. Do us all a favor and let the good guy go. The boss walked away, his leather shoes clicking on the floor. Sophia tried to force her way past, but security guards pinned her to the ground. Passerby laughed. How can you not know where your own boyfriend is? If you don't know, it means you're not supposed to. As the world spun around her, Sophia finally understood. He didn't want her to find him. She had lost Leo for good. The next time I heard news of Sophia, I had already established myself in Singapore. Outside my office window, the sea was dotted with white sails under an endless blue sky. On the phone, my friend from the company couldn't stop talking. Sophia's gone crazy, looking for you everywhere. But we've all kept our promise and stayed silent. We're not letting that psycho bother you. She's nuts. Tried to pull the guilt trip card on me, standing outside my house in the freezing cold, refusing to leave. She clearly doesn't know I'm colder than ice. I was hoping the snow would turn to daggers and finish her off. Eventually, that manipulative little punk came crying and dragged her away. Seriously, what is wrong with some women? When they have something good, they're always looking for something better on the other side of the mountain. Then when they lose it, they act like they're going to die. What, does she think every man in the world should revolve around her? I just laughed and replied calmly, that's just how people are. Once they have a comfortable, peaceful life, they start craving excitement and drama. And after the drama, they realize that peaceful, everyday life is what's truly comforting. But she wanted both. She wasn't that lucky. Don't worry, I've had enough pain. I really am done with her. After I hung up, I turned to see my assistant, Lily, holding a cup of hot coffee, looking at me with genuine admiration. What would you like for lunch, Director? I'll go get it. I could see the affection in her eyes. She said she admired me, independent, self-reliant, moving to another country to conquer new territory and still handling it all with ease. A real man, she said. So she looked up to me, tried to please me, and even cautiously tested the waters. But I had already stepped in something rotten once and stained my path for a long time. So, I told her honestly that if she focused on her work, she could climb even higher than me. My career took off and she surged forward in hers. We became the perfect professional partners. I think that's probably why Sophia and I never made it. At her core, she craved flowers, applause, and adoration. She eagerly accepted all of Felix's worship and flirtation. All I ever wanted was genuine peace and quiet. On Christmas Day, the vintage buildings of Holland Village were draped in colorful lights. I was holding a hot latte, staring blankly at a twinkling Christmas tree. And then, completely unexpectedly, my eyes met Sophia's. Her eyes were bloodshot and exhausted. She asked me in a hoarse voice, "How could you be so cruel? How could you just throw away our 5 years over one argument?" I looked at her the same way I was looking at the warm string lights across the way, calm, without a single ripple of emotion. "Did you not see the PowerPoint I sent?" Sophia's breath hitched, her face turning pale. "I didn't know about any of that. He manipulated me, and they were always whispering in my ear, making me biased against you. I know I was wrong now. I've cut all ties with them and I sent Felix back to Denver. Leo, we were together for 5 years. You're moving up in the world, and I won't stop you, but please, don't leave me behind because of those misunderstandings." I took a sip of my coffee, savoring its bitterness, and said flatly, "So it was everyone else's fault? Are you a fool or just a puppet they could control? Don't try to guilt trip me. You know that doesn't work on me. Besides, didn't you only cut ties with them because they started using the same tactics on you that they used on me? You used to tell me to be understanding, to back down, to not make a big deal out of things. How come when it happened to you, you were ready to tear them apart?" Sophia froze, looking at me in disbelief. She thought I didn't know. Shortly after I left, Felix, rejected by Sophia, climbed to the roof of her building. He posted a farewell message in their group chat, claiming that Sophia refused to take responsibility for him and that he had no reason to live. Instantly, Sophia became the target of everyone's rage. Chloe called her a monster. Professor Miller was the best to you. She gave you extra help, cooked for you, all for nothing. You not only betrayed her kindness, but you're also trying to kill her only son. Olivia called her trashy. You took advantage of Felix. Why won't you take responsibility? Sophia was stunned. When did I ever take advantage of him? Chloe and Olivia furiously sent screenshots of Felix's messages. Apparently, on their last night in Aspen, a drunk Sophia had slept with Felix. Felix had taken pictures of himself naked and sent them to his dear big sisters. He wrote, "Sophia was drunk. It wasn't her fault. I don't blame her. It was just my first time, and I don't know what to do. Sisters, should I go buy the morning after pill now?" Poor, kind Felix. He was taken advantage of but was still so worried about Sophia's feelings that he begged everyone to keep it a secret. Poor, wronged Felix. He gave everything to Sophia, and she was still ungrateful, wanting both him and me. They demanded she take responsibility. Sophia tried to defend herself, repeatedly insisting she was innocent, but Chloe shot back. "You're innocent? Weren't you the one who chose Felix over Leo time and time again? Weren't you the one who couldn't stand how broody Leo was? So you let us ice him out and force him out of our circle?" Sophia slapped her. "When did I ever let you guys bully Leo?" Chloe spit out a mouthful of blood and slapped her back several times. She hit Sophia so hard she could barely breathe. "When we went rafting, there was an extra person, and you jumped on the boat with Felix without a second thought. You knew none of us wanted to team up with Leo. Weren't you just trying to make him feel unwelcome so he'd leave on his own?" At the karaoke party, Felix kept saying, "Bro, get me a song. Bro, grab me a drink. Bro, open this for me." You treated Leo like a servant and then just left him in the corner while we all laughed at him. If that wasn't your cold shoulder, what was it? And the Aspen trip. No matter how much we doted on Felix, we knew marriage was serious. We wouldn't joke about it. But you knew it would bother any guy, And you still threw a fit to give your honeymoon trip to Felix. We cared about him, but we didn't empty our bank accounts for him. Every single thing was about your favoritism for Felix. You didn't want to break up, so you used the silent treatment to push Leo away. I actually thought your two birds with one stone approach was pretty clever. So what's this act now? Playing the victim after being the villain? Go to hell. Sophia's head was spinning. She was furious, watching the constant barrage of messages attacking her in the group chat. She ran up to the roof, dragged Felix down, and called the police. You love to make up stories. You used to lie to Leo, now you're lying to them. What the hell do you want? Just then, Chloe and the others arrived. Felix dropped to his knees on the ground, crying pitifully. I just came here to clear my head. It was you, Sophia, who kept crossing the line, giving me hope, making me think you had feelings for me. You couldn't bring yourself to break up with him, so I had to make him back off on his own. I know he was with you for 5 years, so I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted to slowly let him see your true feelings so he would leave on his own. Why are you so angry? Sophia, you led me into temptation, and you took the most precious thing a guy has. And now you want to just wash your hands of it and walk away? Are you trying to push me to my death? Sophia couldn't listen anymore. She raised her hand and slapped him. Screw you. Weren't you the one who came crying to me every single time, begging me to hang out? You said if you died from your depression, your mom wouldn't be able to go on, and that's why I kept ditching Leo to comfort you. I led you on. You're the one who climbed into my bed and then said you thought of me as some trashy girl and that you'd never tell anyone. Plastering it all over the internet is what you call not telling anyone. You're disgusting. Are you mad that I told people? I was just so scared. It was my first time. Felix collapsed on the ground, wailing. Chloe and Olivia rushed forward and started beating Sophia. You're a coward. You're not even as brave as a guy like Felix. You're a monster. I'm the monster? Who was it that kept using Professor Miller's kindness as an excuse for me to spend more time with Felix? Who said Leo was a broody downer and didn't understand our gratitude, so we should just ignore him? Who said that if Felix wasn't happy in Chicago, we couldn't face our professor back in Denver? You push all the responsibility onto me, drain my savings, and then you get to look like the good guys. You're the selfish, disgusting ones. Chloe exploded. If it wasn't for that psycho Leo sending that PowerPoint to everyone, would we be getting dumped and having our engagements called off? You can't clean up your own mess, and you drag everyone down with you. You're the one who's completely rotten, Sophia. Best friends torn apart overnight. Chloe's ex-boyfriend filmed the whole thing and gleefully sent it to me as a joke. But it wasn't over. The harassment from Felix, the ridicule on social media, and the spiteful curses from her former best friends nearly destroyed Sophia. Even worse, Felix started showing up at her office, acting like her boyfriend. Male managers Sophia worked with, male partners she negotiated contracts with, even male colleagues she barely knew. Felix would wait until the busiest times, then run up to them, sobbing, grabbing their arms and begging, "Please, stop trying to steal Sophia from me. I really can't lose her, please." He would even kneel on the ground in front of everyone and beg them to leave her alone. Time and again, he publicly framed her male colleagues as homewreckers. Someone filmed it and posted it online, causing a huge stir. For those men, it was a complete nightmare. They started avoiding Sophia like the plague. A company relies on teamwork. No matter how talented you are, you can't do everything yourself. Sophia, the rising star, the one most likely to make a 7-figure salary, was forced to resign. She went mad, kicked Felix out of her apartment, and disappeared from Chicago completely. Unable to find her, Felix also went mad. One day, chasing after a woman who looked like Sophia from behind, he ran recklessly into the street and was hit by a speeding car. When Professor Miller arrived in Chicago, everyone finally learned that Felix had a severe mental illness. The trashy girl he always talked about had never been in a relationship with him at all. Because she was bright and successful, she became the object of his obsession. Eventually, she couldn't take the harassment anymore and left Denver. Felix even tried to kill himself to stop her, but failed. But then, A well-wishing phone call from Sophia to Professor Miller was answered by Felix. He remembered the brilliant older student whose wall was covered in awards, the one his mother always praised. She had a successful career, was a manager at a large corporation, and had bought an apartment in Chicago within 5 years of graduating. She was the person everyone praised. More importantly, Felix looked at her social media. Sophia was tall and beautiful, even prettier than the girl who had run away. So he came to Chicago with a plan. And he ended my 5 years with the not-so-steadfast Sophia. Seeing Sophia's pain, I felt no pleasure, only a quiet calm. When you were ordering me around, you were always talking about your debt to your professor. Your mentee turned out the way he did. If you had taken responsibility for the rest of his life, everyone would have praised you for your unwavering loyalty. But you didn't do that, did you? Sophia swayed on her feet, tears streaming down her face. I never planned a future with him, I swear I didn't. Leo, it's all in the past, it's really over. Can't you just give me this one chance? I smiled. I gave you many chances. When I was left behind on the rafting trip, we fought and I broke up with you. But in the end, I was the one who gave in and opened the door. When I was treated like a waiter at the karaoke bar, you called me cheap and a buzzkill. I hid at a friend's house and cried for 3 days. But you said one word about getting hot pot, and I surrendered. When I couldn't reach you late at night, when I was stuck in the rain waiting for you, when I was sick with a fever and the bed next to me was empty, every one of those times, I really wanted to break up. But every time, the pain was unbearable, and I could only be the one to back down. You knew. For the first 30 years of my life, I had nothing. You were the only warmth I could cling to, my only source of support, the only one who understood my insecurities and accepted me. That's why you were so sure I could never leave you. It took 2 months of detox, like cutting flesh from my bones, to completely remove you from my system. Every step was agonizing. I'm not a saint. I won't be pushed to the brink by your claims of innocence and then pathetically offer forgiveness. I was in pain, so you deserve to feel that same heart-wrenching pain. That's why I carefully crafted that breakup PowerPoint and sent it to every single person. I knew Felix was unstable long before you did, but I wasn't kind enough to try and warn you while you treated me with such contempt. It's a pain that cuts to the bone. Now that you've felt it, you understand everything. Sophia, after all this, after we've both been destroyed, do you really think I would ever go back? Sophia finally understood. Even my breakup was a long, painful, premeditated act. I am a resilient person. When I say something, I mean it. The breakup was real, and so was the revenge. When I left, I never planned on looking back. She buried her face in her hands and cried as if she had lost everything. But so what? She wasn't stupid. She understood everything. The kid's admiration was blatant. His advances were obvious. Even when he tested the waters, asking who was better, me or him, she knew she was crossing a line. But she still stroked his head and said, "Felix is the cutest." The fact that she got played just proves her love was never strong enough. She deserved it. Sophia wouldn't give up. She was determined to win me back just like before. I was getting tired of it. I took my assistant Lily's arm and told Sophia plainly, a top graduate, a pillar of our company, and my personal hero. Let me introduce you. This is my girlfriend. Sophia lunged forward like a madwoman, trying to grab my hand. But Lily stepped in front of her. I heard someone was looking for you like their life depended on it. Would you mind if I helped her out? Sophia froze, her eyes filled with fear. Lily continued, at this point, what can you possibly offer him? Stop dragging him down in the name of love. He is his own person, not your life raft. Sophia paused, and the words slowly sank in. She had lost her job, ruined her reputation, and was being stalked by a lunatic. What could she give Leo? Nothing but fear and pain. Finally, she slowly released her grip on Lily's collar. She was still a fugitive running from her own mess, yet she delusionally thought she could rebuild her kingdom in our relationship. Pipe dream. Sophia walked away, dejected, and booked a flight for that same day. I never saw her again. A relationship, whether it's a whirlwind romance or a battle to the death, ends like a badly written novel. It just stops. No long goodbyes, no final toast. One person turns away and it's for a lifetime. 3 years later, I returned to the country, promoted twice, and was easily making a 7-figure salary. At the company's annual party, I was representing our firm and went to toast the client's representative. My little assistant, Lily, had transformed into a powerful, independent woman. Swirling a glass of wine, she raised an eyebrow at me. Standing on the shoulders of my family's giant corporation, I'm finally lucky enough to stand beside you. I wonder if I might have the honor of asking Director G to dinner? 3 years is a long time. The spot where I had cut out the tumor had healed over with new flesh. It didn't hurt anymore. I figured that one rotten experience wasn't so toxic that I'd be afraid to take another step for the rest of my life. So I said yes. Chicago is a small town. I happened to run into Jax. He told me that all the guys involved in that PowerPoint incident had broken up with their girlfriends. He also told me that last winter, Felix had finally found Sophia again. One couldn't live without her. The other would rather die than be with him. They fought relentlessly, tumbling down a flight of stairs together. The blood clot in Felix's brain from his previous accident dispersed, and he died on the spot. Sophia was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 7 years. Compared to the mess I had scraped off my shoe, they were a poison that rotted you from the inside out. Thankfully, on my path to success, I had wiped myself clean and moved on to a new chapter in my life. But in their endless entanglement, the poison had seeped into their bones, and there was no cure. Seeing the tall, beautiful Lily behind me, he smiled at me. We both had to throw away a love that wasn't right for us. That's why we deserve better. In the vast sea of life, the only one who can save you is yourself. There is more than one woman who can't see clearly, but there is also more than one man who can. The snow from last night has melted, and the sun is shining on the branches. I wish him, and us, a future of clarity and happiness.